The city of Stalingrad burned day and night. Once a thriving industrial hub on the banks of the Volga River, by late 1942, it had become a graveyard of shattered brick, twisted steel, and frozen bodies. The Battle of Stalingrad was not just a clash of two armies. It was a titanic struggle for survival between two ideologies. Hitler's Wehrmacht met Stalin's Red Army in a fight so brutal, so relentless, it would break the myth of Nazi invincibility and shift the momentum of World War II. It began with ambition. In the summer of 1942, after failing to conquer Moscow, Hitler launched Operation Blue, a massive offensive into the Soviet South to seize oil fields in the Caucasus and capture Stalingrad. The city bore Stalin's name, making it a symbolic prize. Hitler declared that its capture would break Soviet morale, but he gravely underestimated both the terrain and the Soviet will to resist. By August 23rd, German planes began bombing Stalingrad into oblivion. Fires engulfed factories, homes, even hospitals. The Luftwaffe turned the city to rubble, but that rubble would become the Red Army's strongest ally. Stalin ordered not a step back. The Soviets would fight for every street, every building, even every stairwell. Soldiers dug into cellars, machine gun nested behind broken walls, and snipers haunted the ruins like ghosts. This was urban warfare at its most terrifying. By September, the Germans controlled most of the city, yet the Soviets refused to surrender. General Vasily Chukov, leading the 62nd Army, famously said, "We will defend the city or die in it." Soviet reinforcements crossed the Volga under constant shelling, often with no rifles, told to pick up weapons from the dead. It was war reduced to desperation. The Germans called it Rattenkrieg, Rat War, because fighting felt like crawling through a maze of destruction. As winter set in, the German 6th Army, under Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus, was exhausted. Supplies ran low. Soviet forces, meanwhile, had secretly amassed troops for a massive counteroffensive. On November 19, 1942, the Red Army launched Operation Uranus, a devastating pincer movement that encircled the entire German 6th Army. In just 4 days, over 250,000 Axis troops were trapped inside Stalingrad. Hitler refused to let Paulus retreat, sealing their fate. What followed was a slow, freezing death. The German troops, now besieged and starving, fought desperately in collapsing buildings. Temperatures dropped below minus 30 degrees Celsius. Soldiers burned books and furniture for heat. Ammunition ran dry. The Luftwaffe failed to deliver enough supplies by air. Corpses littered the streets. Some German units resorted to cannibalism. Still, Hitler ordered them to fight to the last man. But on January 31st, 1943, Paulus, promoted to Field Marshal just hours earlier, did the unthinkable. He surrendered. Hitler had expected him to commit suicide, but Paulus chose survival. By February 2nd, the last remnants of the German 6th Army laid down their arms. Of the 300,000 Axis soldiers who entered Stalingrad, fewer than 100,000 survived surrender. Less than 6,000 ever returned to Germany. The cost was catastrophic. Nearly 2 million soldiers and civilians were killed, wounded, or captured in the Battle of Stalingrad. But it marked a turning point. For the first time, the Nazi war machine had been stopped, encircled, and crushed. The Eastern Front would never again favor Germany. From here on, the Red Army would push westward, city by city, until Berlin itself would fall. Stalingrad became a symbol, not just of Soviet resilience, but of human endurance. Veterans described the battle not as war, but as hell, a place where time stopped, and survival was the only measure of victory. Historians now regard it as the most important battle of World War II, with a tide turned in blood and frost. The ruins of Stalingrad still stand today, now Volgograd, a testament to the price paid in human lives. It reminds us that history's greatest battles are not won only by firepower, but by will. The battle that broke Hitler's eastern ambitions was not fought by heroes in shining armor, but by freezing soldiers, starving civilians, and an unbreakable spirit. The Battle of Stalingrad was more than a military turning point. It was a moment the world realized that even the most powerful empires can bleed.